My beloved child, do you know that the most fearful thing in the journey of faith is not that I am silent, nor that I have forgotten you, but that you yourself, the one who once wept, knelt, and cried out to me in the night, let go, allowing your heart to grow cold just as the spiritual clock is about to strike. When I say, but the one who endures to the end will be saved, Matthew 2:4-13, that is not only a promise, but a warning bell I ring for those who are growing weary right at the threshold of glory. Have you ever realized that many have walked a long journey of faith only to drop the blessing right at the final doorway? It is not because they lacked faith, but because they were too exhausted to believe one more time. They think that I have forgotten, when in reality, I am simply finishing what I began. People quickly lose heart when silence stretches on, when promises have not yet become reality, when prayers have not yet received an answer. But my child, faith is not measured by how far you have gone, but by how faithfully you hold on until the very last moment. Many souls have stopped short simply because they forgot that my clock is never slow, it only runs on a different rhythm than yours. Can you hear it? The spiritual clock is counting the very breaths of time, and every second is whispering, the hour is near. Yet the world remains loud. People remain engrossed, living as though they had endless tomorrows. They delay. They wait for another day to believe, not knowing that every hesitation shortens an opportunity. The time I have appointed is not a vague metaphor, it is a sacred appointment I wrote down before you were born. The dreams you have, the indistinct stirrings in your heart, the tears that fall for no clear reason, these are not coincidences, but reminders from me that time is no longer much. Yet sadly, many dismiss them as fleeting emotions, only to realize one day that they have walked past a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that will never return. My child, what grieves me most is not seeing you weak, but seeing you grow cold when I am near to completing a miracle for you. On the journey of faith, almost no one gives up at the beginning, but many collapse near the end, where the light has already begun to glimmer on the horizon. The enemy knows it cannot stop my hand, so it tries to pull you away from the place of waiting. It makes you tired, distracted, doubtful, filling your heart with noise until you no longer have enough stillness to hear my voice. And when you sink into that weariness, you loosen your hold on what I am about to give you. You think you are merely resting, but in truth, you are stepping out of the ranks of those who will witness the miracle. Many are living as though tomorrow will always be there, while in heaven, the hands of my clock have already begun to move, and they still imagine they have countless chances. They chase after work, plans, dreams, yet few pause to ask, where am I in God's plan? I have knocked at the door of their hearts many times through circumstances, through warnings, through dreams that seem meaningless, but they insist. It's not time yet. My time is not a figure of speech, but a real appointment fixed before you ever came into the world. And when the call goes out, if you do not respond in time, you will find yourself lost in the very life I once defined for you. Every invitation from me is not a temporary offer, it is a door that opens only once. To miss today is to turn away from an entire season of blessing long prepared for you. Remember this, I am never in a hurry, but I am never late. When my appointed time comes, I desire to find you ready, not entangled and distracted by the world. Do not wait for tomorrow to believe, for tomorrow may never come. My beloved child, have you ever paused long enough to listen to your own breathing, the rhythm that is counting down the very seconds I have given you? I see you busy and hurried, chasing after what you believe is important, unaware that behind all those things, my time is quietly slipping by. You are absorbed in building your life, caring for every little detail. Yet you forget there is something greater than all these, that is your life in me. when I declare, today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts as in the rebellion. Hebrews 3:1-5. It is my reminder that not tomorrow, but today is the time for obedience. Yet many still delay, allowing the noise of everyday life to drown out my gentle call, until they finally realize that tomorrow no longer belongs to them. My child, I understand your heart always wanting to rest a little, postpone a little, waiting for a more convenient time before giving me your whole heart. But you do not realize that every "I'll do it tomorrow" is one more step you take away from me. The devil does not need to push you into great sins. It only needs to whisper to you, there's still time. It does not have to steal your faith. It only has to delay that faith until the door has closed. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy, John 10:10, and sometimes it needs no force at all, only distraction. And you will lose by yourself the very opportunities that were meant for you. My child, I do not reproach you for being weak. I only fear that you become so accustomed to your weakness that you no longer desire to stand up. I have given you many awakenings, those restless nights, those events that shake your heart, those dreams that seem meaningless. All of them are my gentle touch on your soul, letting you know that I am still waiting. But you treat them as coincidences and soothe yourself with the excuse, it's probably not the time yet. You do not know that that time is precisely today. For my timing is not measured by earthly clocks, but by the rhythm of heavenly purpose. For I know the plans I have for you, plans for peace and not for harm, to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 2:9-11. I have never stopped planning good things for you, but I need you to show up at the hour I have appointed. Every time you postpone, you are the one arriving late to what I have already prepared. My child, I know there are moments when your heart is weary because the road feels too long and your prayers seem unanswered. But trust me, you have never been forgotten. I am teaching you to walk by faith, not by feelings. Feelings may change, but faith is what keeps you standing when everything seems to collapse. Can you see that? Throughout the years, it was precisely in the moments that felt like my silence that I was rearranging your life. If I allow your spiritual clock to run slower than others, it is because I am teaching you the value of waiting. With the Lord, one day is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is one day too. Peter 3:8. My time is not late, only different, and that difference exists so that you may learn to believe even when you do not yet see. My beloved, the world always makes you think you have endless chances, that this failure can be fixed, that mistake can be undone. But some opportunities come only once in a lifetime, and when I knock, I long for you to open it once, not say, let me prepare a little more. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him. Revelation 3:20. I do not knock forever, because I honor your will, and if you keep staring at what you are losing, you will miss what is coming. My child, I do not need you to be perfect, I only need you to be willing. When you are willing, I will take care of the rest. There are those to whom I once entrusted a calling, whose hearts once burned for me, but whose fire gradually died down because they thought, I'll live for him again when the time is right. Yet the fire of the Holy Spirit does not wait for another time. When I breathe life into your soul, I desire that you keep that flame burning. Even if it is just a small flicker in the dark, do not compare yourself to anyone else. For my timing for each person is different. I only want you not to let the fire die out because of complacency. Do not quench the Spirit. 1 Thessalonians 5:19. When you guard that small flame, you will see me turn it into a torch that lights up an entire harvest. My child, some people think they are truly living, when in fact they are asleep in the busyness of life. They are not committing obvious sins, but they no longer hunger for me. They go to church, but their souls have been far from me for a long time. I look at them and my heart is saddened, for the light in them is fading like a lamp that is running out of oil. Remember my words, therefore keep watch, for you do not know on what day your Lord is coming. Matthew 2:4-4-2. Watchfulness is not fear, it is keeping your spirit alive, so that whenever I come, you will not be ashamed or afraid, but will smile, knowing you are ready. My beloved child, do not let busyness kill intimacy with me. I do not rebuke you for having concerns, for I know you live in the midst of this world. But I am grieved when you give your time to everything and everyone except me, when I awaken you with a nameless emptiness. That is, my invitation for you to return. Do not try to fill it with work or relationships, for only I can fill that void. But seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. Matthew 6:3-3. If you put me in the right place, you will see everything else fall into its rightful place. My child, look back over your life. How many times have you promised you would change, that you would return, and then forgotten? I do not remind you to condemn you, but to show you that I am still waiting. It is never too late to come back, but do not wait until your heart is completely cold before seeking me. I do not need grand promises, I only desire that first step you dare to take toward me, like the father waiting for his prodigal son. I am also standing at the road's beginning, my arms still open wide. You only need to turn around, the rest I will do. And when you do return, you will realize that all the clocks I placed in your life, the crises, the delays, the wounds have all been my ways of teaching you to value the time of life. Every second I give is an opportunity to love, to forgive, and to live fully in my will. Do not waste it in procrastination or indifference, for one day that clock will stop, and what will remain is only the love you have given me. Therefore, my child, wake up. Do not wait for a clearer sign, for every sign you need has already been given in your heart, in your circumstances, in my word. Take a step, even a small one. For every step you take toward me is a step you leave the darkness behind, like the sower who knows the harvest is near. Stand up, for your season is also approaching, and as you begin to walk, you will see that the spiritual journey is not just about going far, but about keeping your heart awake in the storm of distraction. For sometimes, the real danger does not lie in the fact that you have not yet started, but in that you are walking in the right direction while letting your heart fall out of rhythm. My child, there is something I want you to engrave in your heart. The most dangerous part of the spiritual journey is not when you are weak, but when you think you are almost there, when you stand in the final stretch where just a little more perseverance would bring you into the promise. That is, when the enemy launches its fiercest attack. It does not strike you with obvious sin, but with weariness, discouragement, comparison, and the noise of the world. I have seen so many souls stop right at the door of the miracle because they no longer had the strength to wait one more hour. But my child, those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. Isaiah 40:3-1. I do not want you merely to begin in fire, but to finish in light. I understand you have endured many trials, and at times you feel that I take too long to answer. You pray, you believe, then you wait, and the longer the wait, the colder your heart seems to grow. That is when you begin to look at others and ask, why does God answer them quickly but not me? In that moment, the seed of comparison is sown and slowly sprouts into bitterness. My child, faith is not a race to see who receives first, but a personal journey of each soul. I have a unique plan for every person, and no one is late who still walks in my will. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due season we will reap, if we do not give up. Galatians 6:9. I want you to learn endurance even when no one applauds you, because in that very hidden place I am testing whether your love is truly genuine. When you feel exhausted, do not struggle alone. Stop and sit at my feet. Let me pour new strength into you. Sometimes I do not want you to run fast. I only want you to be still in my presence. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. The world teaches you to be strong and persistent, but I teach you that true strength comes from knowing how to be weak in me. You do not need to pretend to be fine or hold back your tears, for I know everything. Every sigh you release, I hear every trembling in you. I see. I am not far from you in your weariness. I am right there, waiting for you to lift your head so I can help you stand again. But my child, understand this too. Distraction does not always come through pain. Sometimes it comes through pleasant things. A compliment, an opportunity, a small success can also pull you away from the place I have put you. The enemy is very subtle. It knows it cannot stop me from blessing you. So it only needs to lure you away from the place where blessings are poured out. It makes you believe you must do a little more, must prove yourself in what I have already affirmed long ago. And so you chase after what is good, while forgetting what is right. No one can serve two masters. Matthew 6:2-4. You cannot chase the applause of people, and at the same time, keep your heart pure for me. You must choose either quietness in my will, or noise in the world. I see you, my child, when your heart sags in the middle of the road. There are days when you want to let go, not because you do not believe, but because you have waited too long. I understand, but I want you to know every true miracle needs time to sprout, like a seed lying still in the soil. It must endure darkness, dampness, and wait before breaking through to the light. If you give up in the middle of the process, you will never see the golden grain you once prayed for. Those who sow in tears shall reap in shouts of joy. Psalm 1:2-6-5. My child, your tears are not wasted. They are watering the harvest that is coming. I want you to understand that exhaustion does not mean you have failed. It only means you need me more than ever. When your hands tremble, take hold of mine. When your knees are weak, kneel down, for sometimes victory is not found in standing up, but in knowing where to kneel. For when you are weak, then I make you strong. 2 Corinthians 1:2-9-10. Your strength does not come from your own willpower, but from your surrender to me. Surrender is not defeat, it is allowing me to win on your behalf. There are storms you are facing now that are not meant to destroy you, but to refine what is truly real in your heart. I allow you to pass through trials not because I delight in your pain, but because I want you to learn to love me even when you hold nothing in your hands. When you remain faithful, though, you see no miracle. That is when you yourself are becoming the miracle. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed. John 2:0-9. I have not forgotten a single prayer of yours. I am only waiting for your heart to grow large enough to receive what I am about to give. My child, do not fear when you feel weary. Weariness is not as dangerous as allowing that weariness to kill your faith. Rest in me, but do not leave me. There is a difference between resting and quitting. Resting is to regain strength. Quitting is to refuse the journey I have marked out for you. Learn from Jesus, though exhausted on the cross. He still declared, "It is finished." John 1:9-30. Do you see, he did not end because he was weak, but because he had completed everything. I also want you to finish like that, not because you are worn out, but because you have faithfully walked to the end of the path I entrusted to you. My beloved child, When you keep your heart steadfast, I will add strength to you. Every step you take in exhaustion is a step I am lifting by my grace. Let your eyes look up to me, not around you. When you look to me, you will see the storm begin to fade and your soul come back into peace. You keep in perfect peace the one whose mind stays on you, because he trusts in you. Isaiah 2:6-3. Do not forget, no curve in the road is meaningless. Every drop of sweat on the path of faith is counted by me and kept in my bottle. And then, when you have walked through that stretch of road full of distractions, you will realize what I want to train in you is not the strength to run, but the strength to stand. For after every gust of wind, what remains is not who ran the fastest, but who still kept their heart. Let your heart be still in me, because ahead of you, you will need that very steadfastness to walk through deeper silences and greater trials. My child, do not be afraid when the light seems to grow dim, for only in the deepest night does my light shine the clearest. Keep walking, not because you still have strength, but because I am still walking with you. The place you think is the end is in fact the starting point of a new chapter in your journey of faith, where I will teach you that true faith is not only measured by endurance, but also by the ability to remain in peace in the midst of the storm. Do you know, sometimes what weighs your soul down is not the storm, but the silence. My silence can confuse you, like a child standing in the dark, unsure if their father is still there. You have prayed, cried out, waited, yet the answer has not come, and you assume I have turned my face away. You begin to doubt, have you forgotten me? But my child, I have never left. It is precisely in the long pauses that I am working more than ever. The God who watches over Israel never grows tired and never sleeps. Psalm 1:2-1-4. When I am silent, it does not mean I am absent. When you do not hear me, it does not mean I do not hear you. My silence is not indifference, but the time in which I am weaving wonders with threads you cannot yet see. I know that pain makes you feel as if I have abandoned you. When you cry and no one answers, when you are wronged and no one defends you, when you look around and see only the absurdity of life, you begin to close your heart. But my child, do not let pain make you bitter. Do not let your tears turn into salt that dries out your soul. Every tear you shed, I keep in my bottle. You have recorded my misery. Are not my tears kept in your bottle, and my sorrows written in your book? Psalm 5:6-8. Not a single sigh of yours is meaningless. All of them are turning into seeds, and at my appointed time, those seeds will sprout into a harvest of blessing. You often think suffering is punishment, but in truth, it is the classroom of love. In your pain, I teach you what peace cannot teach. I teach you to discern what is temporary from what is eternal, to value the small things you once took for granted. You see, when you suffer, you begin to pray more sincerely, to forgive more easily, and to love more deeply. I do not create pain to torment you, but to refine you. Just as gold must pass through fire to shine, your soul must pass through trials to be made pure. Suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance produces proven character, and character produces hope. Romans 5:3-4. So do not fear pain, only fear a heart that grows hard within that pain. I know there are moments when you sigh and say, Lord, I can't take it anymore. But my child, that is the very point at which you are closest to the place where I am about to work my greatest miracle. The enemy knows this well, so it keeps whispering in your ear, if God loves you, why does he let you hurt so much? It wants you to forget that true love is not the refusal of all wounding, but the presence within every wound, transforming it into grace. As Joseph was sold as a slave, yet raised to be a ruler, as Job lost everything, yet received back double, So you will see that what I allow you to lose is never lost in vain. You do not understand now what I am doing, but later you will understand. John 1:3-7. Sometimes you want me to speak immediately, act immediately, prove myself immediately. But if I answered you at every moment you wept, you would only know me as a giver of gifts, not as a father. I want you to learn to trust me even when you hear nothing. For true faith is not born in miracles, but in silence. When you still stand firm though you cannot see the way, that is when your faith shines brightest. It is I who go before you. I will be with you. I will not leave you or forsake you. Deuteronomy 3:1-8. I have promised, and my promise never fails. My beloved child, do not be afraid when the tears keep falling. They do not make you weaker. They soften your soul so that I can touch it. The world teaches you to be strong, but I teach you that the weakness that turns toward me is the truest strength. When you weep in my arms, I turn those tears into oil that anoints your soul, so that when you rise, you are no longer the person you were. Tears are never useless. They either water life or drown the soul. I want you to choose the first. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Matthew 5:4. I see those times when you try to appear strong, forcing a smile while your heart is shattered. Do you think I do not know? I know everything, and I have compassion on you. You do not have to hide your tears from me, for I do not despise your weakness. In that very weakness I reveal my power. When you let go, I can finally take hold. When you stop straining, I can lift you up. I do not demand that you wear a forced smile in the midst of pain. I only desire that you keep holding my hand, even if your hand is trembling. My child, stop seeing pain as a full stop and begin to see it as a comma in the story I am writing. When you believe that everything is over, I am opening a new chapter. Every season of pain carries a hidden seed, the seed of restoration, of blessing, of faith renewed. One day, when you look back, you will smile and say, so it was then that God was not silent at all. He was writing the deepest part of my story. And when you understand the true meaning of silence, you will no longer be afraid of it. You will begin to see pain as a companion and tears as seeds. For you know that each time you lose something, I am preparing a new fullness for you. The sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. Romans 8:1-8. When you keep your heart tender, even while you weep, you are sowing for yourself a coming season of joy. Then you will understand silence is not me withdrawing, but me stepping back so that you may grow. Pain is not a sign of distance, but a torch lighting the way for your soul to know what is real and what is false. When you learn to see this way, you will pass through days of testing more lightly, because you know that every time I am silent is precisely when I am drawing nearest. For, my beloved child, the journey of faith does not end at mere endurance. It leads to the understanding that every wound hides a sacred purpose, and it is through those very cracks that my light enters. Guard your heart in peace, for beyond pain lies glory. And after silence will come my gentle voice, the sound that only souls who have once wept in my hands can truly hear. My child, I have seen every tear you shed when you were misunderstood, every choking sob when you were excluded, every time you kept silent under the contempt of others. I know that this pain runs deeper than words, for it touches the very value you believed was yours. You begin to ask, if God loves me,